Hey everyone, it's Rickita, and I'm so excited that I am launching a new series. So, this series, we're going to go over Credit 101. And the biggest focus of this is I want to go over credit repair. So, we're going to talk about credit reports and scoring. That's one thing we're going to talk about. We're also going to talk about building your credit, also repairing your credit. I want you guys to know how to do this yourself. We want to talk about debt and repayment, and also choosing the right credit cards, and also how to get approved for these credit cards. So if you guys ever have any questions, please go ahead and drop these questions down below. I'll be happy to help you all. And then don't forget to check out my website, Rickita.com, because so much information will be on there. And if you guys have my membership, a lot of free things will be available on the membership, such as like free downloads that can help you throughout this series. This is episode 2 of Credit 101. So in this episode, we're going to talk about how creditors really assess your credit worthiness. Now, there's just a few things that they really look at. And the first thing is they want to know how much debt you can handle. So if you guys are looking to get a mortgage, they're going to look at your debt to income ratio. Sometimes, they may look at your job, how long you've been at your job, or they want to see what type of profession you have. That's why you'll see a lot of times they have your employer on your credit report. And then also too, I know this is kind of like taboo, but I have believed for a while that they care about where you live also. And they can know where you live by looking at your zip code. Now, I cannot say this is totally true, but I definitely believe this. I just feel like people that have a certain zip code get approved for better credit cards. But, just take that and think of it as you want to think about it. I don't know, take it how you can or whatever you want to think about that. Now, another thing, they want to look at your credit, your current debts, and also your credit limits. So they want to see if you have any maxed out credit cards. If you have maxed out credit cards, they are not going to want to give you more credit. So they want to look at those different things. They want to know too, do you have any new recent opening accounts? And then also how many accounts you have. Chase have the 524 rule. You have to think about things like that. Certain companies will not give you a credit card. You have too many accounts open within a certain amount of time. So definitely keep that in mind. Sometimes you may get denied for just having too many accounts also. So that's something that they really want to know about. They also want to know about your assets. And a great way for companies to know what assets you have is by seeing a mortgage on your credit report. So they're going to see that mortgage on your credit report. They'll see how much you owe on it, and they could easily have some type of calculation in the background to see how much it's actually worth. Also, if you guys have a car, it's the same thing. They want to see how much your car is worth. They can look right on your credit report to see how much you owe on it. You can also tell them what assets you have. But when you guys are applying for credit cards, you may see something too where it asks you how long have you had your house or where you stayed at, and also if you rent or own. So that's where they're going to be looking at your financial stability also. So they're going to ask, hey, do you own a home? Do you own a rent? You're going to see that a lot on your credit card application. And they want to know how long you have been at that address too. So sometimes you'll see on the credit bureau's website, they'll say when that address was added, and they can calculate how long you've been at that address. Also, they want to know if you have a checking and a savings account or either or, because a lot of times if you guys don't have these accounts, then they can know like you must not be financially stable. So these are 4 things. They want to know how much debt you can handle. They want to know your current debts and your credit limits. They want to know your total assets. And then also they want to know your financial stability. Welcome to episode 3 of Credit 101. If you missed any episodes, please go ahead and check those out. Now, in this episode, we're going to talk about the difference between a credit report and a credit score. Now, first, I need you to know what a credit score is. So a credit score is a score that is generated by looking at your credit reports. So a lot of companies, they come up with your credit score by looking at your credit report, and then they'll generate a credit score for you. Now, what is a credit score used for? A credit score is used by creditors to determine whether or not you want to pay. That's all they want to know. Are you going to pay them if they give you whatever money it is, or if they loan you anything? They want to know whether or not you'll pay. So that means that, high scores, if you guys have a high score, then a high score means that you're likely to pay, and a low score means that you're less likely to pay. And when you guys look at scores, we have so many different scoring models out there, but normally you guys will see a scoring model between 350 all the way up to 850. So that's usually the scoring model, and you'll see like different scores. Sometimes it go from 300 to 900. There's different credit scores out there. So we have to know about these different things. So also, what's the difference How many different credit scores are out there? There's over 50 credit scores, you guys. More than that now. I used to say 50, but it's so many out there because a lot of companies, what they'll do is they'll get your credit report and they'll generate their own score. So a lot of times you'll try to go get a mortgage. You'll say, well, this is not what's on Credit Card Mortgage. This is not what's on Identity IQ. And you're trying to figure out, where they're getting this score from. They got your credit reports and they use their own internal algorithm to determine what your credit score is. So keep that in mind, you all. Also, what matters most with credit reports? The thing to me that matters most is what's actually on your credit reports. So a lot of people are so focused on your credit scores. I always tell people just focus what's actually on your credit reports, because if you guys have the right information on your credit reports, then you know you must have a high credit score. So welcome to episode 4. In this episode, we will talk about your credit reports and also what are their uses. So the first thing is I want you guys to know, where do your credit reports come from? So your credit reports come from the 3 main credit bureaus: TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Now the credit reporting agencies is something you can also call them, and I usually call them 2 CRAs, credit reporting agencies. They usually include things like your credit worthiness, your credit standing at the time, also your credit capacity. These are things that they're going to learn by getting your credit reports. Also, they're going to look at that and determine too, like, what do they think your character is like, and also too, just your financial information in general. Now, where does the credit reporting agencies get their information from? The credit reporting agencies, honestly, they get their information from the creditors. So when you guys apply for a credit card, and when they actually report to the credit bureaus, all that information comes from them. They get it from collection agencies too. When collection agencies put things on your credit report, they get that information from them. Now, we also need to know who actually buys your credit reports. So banks buy your credit reports. If you guys apply for a mortgage, they're actually buying your credit reports. Also, if you guys are trying to get a loan from a credit union, they are actually getting your information also. So you may see that the credit unions, they buy your credit reports. Also, credit card companies, when you guys apply for a credit card, when they want to pull your credit, they're actually buying your credit report. So they're actually buying your information. Also, car dealers, insurance companies, they also want to look at your credit a lot of times. If you guys have a landlord, they want to look at your credit, they may buy it. And even some of these employers, I have someone that wanted to have a certain job and they have to have a certain credit score. They couldn't have certain things on their credit to get approved. So you may see that employers are paying for these credit reports. Now, you guys have to understand that sometimes government agencies may get your credit reports. Now, they may get your credit reports if they're granting you a license, or if they're trying to extend you some type of credit, or if they're investigating some international terrorism. It's different, but they may get it for that. And they usually get all 3 credit bureaus, the main ones: TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Now, the reason why I said main ones, because there's so many different credit agencies, credit bureaus out there, you guys. So we have the main ones: TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, but we have other ones too. And we're going to get into those in the next episode. Now, those ones, you guys, they may look at different things to determine like your insurance. Maybe they want to look at your background check, medical. They get so much stuff about our medical, and also like your rental history. So we're going to get into that in episode 5. Let me know if you guys have any questions down in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them for you. I'll see you guys in episode 5.